Peace and blessings. Namaste. To all light warriors, workers, and everything in between. It is I, Sophie, today, and thank you for stopping by. I want to talk about the law of correspondence because entering into our fall season. We have a huge equinox that is coming up, on the 22nd. And up until this time, we have been experiencing several shifts and DNA upgrades and ascension symptoms and all of that wonderful things. Okay, but there are some of us who are still struggling, at this time and how they should be thinking and how they're manifesting. Okay, so I want to help in this process by introducing a inept or in-depth um, conversation about the law of correspondence. Okay, now the law of correspondence is an as above, so below, as within, so without. Okay, microcosm, macrocosm. And basically, it is telling us that everything that we are experiencing, outwardly is a direct reflection of what's going on inwardly, okay? And another reflection of the universe. All right, so everything is interconnected, okay? Everything is interconnected, all right? So when we have certain assignments or certain tasks that we have to get done, all right, and we're manifesting for the optimum outcome of these things, all right? And we're saying to ourselves in our prayers, okay, I need this job, or I need this car, or I need this, to come into my universe. And we're meditating on it and we're praying on it and all of that stuff, right? However, when doubt starts to creep in, or after you have prayed and manifested, if you go back to keep checking up on what it is that you prayed and manifested, you are canceling it out. You're canceling it out altogether. Why? Scriptures tell us that a double-minded man is unstable in all of their ways, okay? Now, we've read this, but did we have an understanding on why that was said in that way? Okay, I'm going to help you. Manifestations, okay, and communication with the divine, understanding, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding all takes place here in the realms of the third eye, the crown, okay, and pineal gland. All right, pituitary, pineal, crown chakra. All right, this is where the whole seat of the divine is. All right, now, while we're dealing with the seat of the divine, the brain still has two hemispheres, okay? One creative, one logical. All right. What ends up happening sometimes is when we're doing our prayers and our manifestation, we have a clear understanding of what it is that we are trying to bring into our world at that moment, okay? And this is the creative, all expansive mind that is drawing that power back to us, drawing our manifestations back to us, putting us in alignment with what it is that we came here to do, okay? Now, sometimes the logic side of the brain thinks it's too hard. Okay, or if it's not moving fast enough, we'll start to second guess it. Okay, or if it does not look like the way that it should play out, depending on how we're thinking things should play out, then the analytical side of the mind comes in and cancels out the expansive, nothing is impossible side. All right, so now you have you're actually double-minded in your own mind, all right? So you can't get anything accomplished because they're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, okay? If you don't have the confidence and the faith to stand behind what it is that you're trying to manifest and put action to it, all right, you're not going to see it manifesting. You're not going to hear your prayers answered, okay? Because you're straddling the fence. Okay, so even though your mouth is saying, I'm praying, I need this, and I'm so grateful for the universe for bringing that into my reality, into my existence, the subconscious mind is saying, this is never going to happen. This doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to get this accomplished. This is way too big. Okay, once that starts canceling out the other part of the brain, you have not achieved an equilibrium balance enough to see this into fruition. So what's going to happen is you're not going to get what it is that you're praying for. Okay? The law of correspondence says everything has to be connected. So that means you have to be in alignment, number one, with yourself, okay, with your own mind, body, and soul. We're going to be in agreement. I'm going to get my creative side, my analytical side to go ahead and be in agreement that this can be possible and it will be possible. And I'm going to cut off the logic side of trying to figure out how it's going to come into fruition and start to trust the creative side that everything is connected, and what I speak, I draw. Okay, what I send out comes back to me in the manner that I sent it out in. All right, but that's only if you can get the mind in a singular frame of thought. Okay, not only do you have to get the mind in a singular frame of thought, the heart has to balance with it too. Okay, so this is all of the equilibrium right here that's going on. So even if you got, say you got your mind together, that this is what we're going to manifest and this is what's going to happen. All right. But the heart's not involved in it. We don't still want to do the work, or it's not mission based, or we're getting no sense of fulfillment over it. You're still going to cancel that out as well. All right. So everything has to be mind, body, and soul. This is the law of correspondence. Okay. And you have to know that your actions, what you're doing here on this earth, okay, your action, love, is an action word. Okay, who I'm talking to, who I'm reaching, who I'm helping, okay, where I'm strategically placed in this world. All of that is all encompassing. All right, there are some of us who are strategically placed in way harder situations than others. All right, but it doesn't mean that their journey or their walk is harder. All right, it means that assignment needs a little bit more detail, and maybe those who have an easier journey have still a hard assignment of reaching people. Okay, but the foot soldiers, the warriors that came here, a lot of the warriors are being placed in harder positions, okay, than the light workers. Now, why does this happen? Because it's a different spirit. Do you understand? The light workers are here covering the warriors. Do you understand? So if we want to look at this strategically, like in a military type of setting, the foot soldiers would be your ground troops. Okay, we're out here, we're in the war, we're in the war, we're being seen, we're visible, we're touching, we're identifying. Okay, we're witnessing, we're experiencing these things. All right, and we're storing the information so that we can help correct the things that are going wrong. Okay, so the experience during this journey is very, very, very important. All right, so the light workers are the one that keeps us covered. So we want to look at the light workers, okay, as the medics. Okay, so when you're out in the field, if you were in the military, or whatnot, we would have to go through these 10-mile marches with 70 pounds strapped on our backs. We would also have to stay out in the wilderness for 2 weeks, okay, build our own tents, okay, eat our own food, all of that stuff, take care of our rifles, all of that stuff. For 2 weeks, we had to learn how to survive out there, all right? But in the background, we still had our sergeants, we still had our rangers, they covered us from a distance, especially when we went through our night infiltration. And those of you who went through basic training, you remember the night infiltration exercises where you have to actually crawl while there's bullets flying all over you, and they got explosions going on to the left and the right, and you've got barbed wire over top of you, and you're crawling through mud and sand to get to the end. And if you stand up, there is a very good chance that your head will get blown off. And that type of fear pushes you to get from one end of the football field to the other in that mud, okay, crawling. We crawl. Then we get up at the end. It's exhausting. It's tiring, but you survived, okay? Your light workers are the medics and the people that are overseeing it. So your light workers send out the energy for you. Okay. They protect you. They pray for you. They heal you. Okay. They do the meditations. Those are the ones who we come back damaged. When we come back damaged, we have light workers there that can help cleanse our energy and help get us back on track. All right. So we need our light workers here. The light workers' job should be constantly interceding on behalf of those who are doing the groundwork. So if you are a light worker, you need to be holding your meditation groups, okay, and sending up prayers of protection, and sending up prayers of covering, and sending up prayers of strength and healing and power, okay, for those who are on the front line. This is your job, light workers, okay? Not just simply to, deal with the people that you're immediately affecting that are coming to you for Reiki or any type of healing like that. You're supposed to be covering the entire collective. All right. So we do our work with individuals, and then we do our work with the collective to help heal them, restore their energy and their power. Okay. Now, the light warrior has a different charge, okay? Because they are the ones that is facing the enemy. They're the ones that are getting the bullets thrown at them. They're the ones that are having their livelihoods threatened. They are the ones who are fighting with their government systems or have been strategically placed in places where they need change to exist. Okay, so you might find yourself as one individual, okay, that's working in a huge corporation, and you're the only one who is holding that beacon of light. And say that corporation that you're working for is getting ready to implement some BS, and you know what BS I'm talking about, where you might be threatened to lose your job if you don't go along with the fray, okay, if you're not bad with the rest of the sheep, okay, you might have to deal with that. Okay, but you might still be stuck there for a while. Why? Because you might be the only light in that place. All right. So it is now for you as a warrior to continue to build your spirit and the strength of warrior, the strength of a warrior, strength of a general, the strength of a military strategist. All right. And you are to walk in that place every single day like this: head up, chest out, head up, chin up, chest out. Okay. Confident, smiling. And you will notice that people will look at you like you're crazy. All right. Let it happen a few more times. It'll pique some curiosity. Okay. 1 puts 1,000 to flight. 2 puts 10,000 to flight. All right. Could you imagine 144,000 souls? How much darkness they can put into flight if we get into alignment that we're here for the collective and not just ourselves? Sometimes some of us have to make the harder sacrifices. If you are called to make the harder sacrifices, don't process that as a punishment. Process that you were called because you were strong enough to handle it, and you're doing something that other people can't get accomplished. For every setback or obstacle that is thrown in your path, understand that it's only thrown in your path because it's a challenge for you to overcome to get to the next level. The more we start to process this process, okay, that's interesting. Got to process this process. The more we start to understand how this process goes, every level of advancement that you enter into as clearing your consciousness or becoming lighter or more in tune with the divine and more in tune with your higher self, the bigger the challenge is going to come to you. Okay? Because you got to keep moving these mountains. And the way we get these mountains moved is we have to speak it with a surety. We can't be double-minded. Okay? We need to join in as a collective with others. We were able with, let me see, one of our meditation groups, we only had 5 people in it. I'm only teaching you these things from experience, okay? I'm not doing this because I've heard it and I think that it might work, so I'm getting ready to share it to you or share it with you. I'm doing this because I strategically placed myself, well, I'm going to take that back. I'm not going to say I placed myself. Well, I could have, it could have been my higher self, doing this, but I think the universe had its hands in it too. Anyway, but in hard situations for a reason, okay? Go back and reflect on your life. Go back and really start reflecting on your life from childhood up into adulthood. Did you have the harder tasks? This was something when I started really, really reflecting on my journey from being a little girl with her Cabbage Patch Kids and Barbie dolls unto an adult woman, with family and business and whatever else comes along with being an adult. Nobody wants to be an adult anymore. I want to go back to childhood. I didn't have any responsibility, and all I did was pray. So that was cool. But when I started reflecting back on my journey, all right, there was something that stuck out to me so profoundly, and maybe some of you light workers and light warriors can relate to this. Okay, I started noticing that there was a distinct pattern in my life. Pay attention to patterns, okay, because your patterns help you identify with the law of correspondence and what you're manifesting and how your reality plays out and what you signed up to do. So some of the patterns that I noticed was I had the hardest of everything, and I was so frustrated. When I was in elementary school, there was a teacher that I adored in there. Okay, his name was Mr. Drummond. And I loved Mr. Drummond because Mr. Drummond, well, he kind of spoiled me. He thought I was adorable, and I always got extra milk and cookies, and I used to get a lot of ear infections when I was a kid, and I would cry a lot because I couldn't figure out why I kept getting ear infections. And while all of the other kids would sleep, he would let me do what I wanted to do. Okay. And the next year I wanted him again, and I ended up getting the worst teacher in the school. Nobody wanted this teacher. Okay. I don't want to say her name just in case she's still alive, but this teacher would beat the crap out of us. All right. And when I say the crap out of us, I mean, she would tie a group of rulers, about 10 of them, and wrap them up, with duct tape, and would take your hands like this and tear your hands and your knuckles up. All right. And while she would do it, she would go, yes, love. I remember because I got whooped all the time. And the reason why I got whooped all the time is because I was a class clown. I was a class clown. If I got my work done early, I started harassing and talking to everybody around me, and they would say, okay, she talks too much. That was the only complaint that they ever told my parents. I was a straight A student all the time, but I couldn't shut up. And that would disrupt the rest of the class. I was just disruptive, put it that way. So I got the hardest teacher. All right. And I was upset about it. And I went to my mom and I tried to get her to go to the principal to change the teacher so I wouldn't keep getting in trouble. And no, I had to have it. Then, all right. So when I went into the military, and I still was a little thing, I was a little thing. When I went to the military, so I was about, 5'4", maybe 120 something pounds. You know what I mean? So I was this tiny thing in the military, and I'm thinking, okay, because of the MOS that I picked, my specialty when I went in was 92 Alpha, and I went with the linguistic team. Okay. Now I'm thinking linguistics, 92 Alpha, motor pool, I'm going to be safe. No, when I went into the military, I got the dreaded drill sergeant. Okay. They assigned me right to him. Everybody else, all the other platoons had a wonderful job, and ours had us doing push-ups, sit-ups, and running all day long. And you can't look at them wrong. You can't do anything wrong, or you'd be out there. And I looked up to the sky and I'm like, why is this happening? Oh my God, he was a nightmare. And I used to write letters home saying I wanted to go home. And my mom said, no, 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 no. You went there. You're strong enough. You can handle it. Get through it. And so I did. And not only was I able to get through it, but I graduated distinguished honor grad. That meant I beat out both males and females. This is a true story. I'm not using this story for bragging rights. I'm using this story because some of us have to be pushed to the brink of breaking before we evolve, before we turn into that butterfly. All right. And I was one that if I had the choice, I would have easily taken the easy way out. There was a drill sergeant in there that I thought, a female, that I wanted to be with her. You know what I mean? They said that she was hard, but she was nowhere near senior drill. I got the only senior drill in that battalion. And he kicked my tail. And I watched so many people break. I watched so many people break in tears and be sent home and get recycled and stuff like that. And me, I just kept moving up in the ranks. Of course, I went through being a squad leader, to a platoon leader, to leading the marches, to the flags, to graduating distinguished honor grad, and traveling from Fort Lee, where I was stationed, back home in a limo. Some of you are going to have the harder path. And you can't say it's not fair. Okay? Because the truth of the matter is, it's absolutely fair. Because the thing that might make you stronger and shine and come out of that coal like the beautiful diamond could literally break somebody else who's not as strong as you. The reason why I'm telling you this is because I'm trying to get your confidence back up, to understand that you have exactly what it takes to be the beacon of light, to let you know that if you are being pushed and it looks like the world is crashing around you and there's so much uncertainty, that this is the time that you shine. This is what this is all about. You light warriors, you have to be on the front line because you're the only ones that can do it. Your light workers, they have to cover you, okay? This is how the whole system, the whole machine operates. And then you have your higher level beings that are not stuck on this earth partnering with all of us doing this. 144,000 souls speaking the same truth and the same power and moving some of this negativity off of this earth should be a breeze to us, but it's not. Some of it is due to the law of correspondence and people struggling internally with their own identity or their own thoughts or their own prayers, okay? Another portion of it is we're not all on the same page. Okay, so some people are praying for this and some people are praying for that. What is the solution to that? It splits. All right, so now if you got some group praying for this and some group praying for that, and then a timeline now merges off and splits between these two groups, you just lost some members of your team to help you manifest what it is that you want. The reason why we have to start communicating a lot stronger and a lot better and coming into unison on what it is that we want to see done is so that we can draw our strengths into a powerful light stream and get it done. Some of you don't realize just how powerful your voices are. I keep telling you, it's not about just sitting in quiet contemplation. We do this in our meditations when we're trying to hear. When we're trying to manifest, we do this. I will be successful. Our earth is free. I did come to make a change. I'm unafraid to walk in my power. I am divinely protected and guided at every corner and angle of my being. I grow daily in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, benevolence, altruism, beauty, and splendor. These are things that you need to say, but not just say it. You need to know it. Equilibrium and balance. We call them affirmations. Affirmations does work when you're in right alignment. We cannot be afraid of what's to come. We ought to alter what is to come. We see the plans. We formulate a plan of action. We get in our little groups and we speak in opposition to it. And once we are done speaking in that opposition, we don't go back and second guess it. We don't go back to start thinking about it. We consider it done. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways and should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. There was a reason why that was said. Understand how your reality is a reflection of how you feel inwardly. When you are at peace, your reality is at peace. When you are in anxiety and worry, it'll start reflecting around you too. We came here to do a job. This earth is temporary. There are so many worlds out there that can be explored. But you have to understand why you are journeying here. The easier and the quickest that you come to an understanding of what it is that you came here to accomplish and why, this matrix system turns into a video game. How many lives do you actually have? If it's infinite lives, then why do you fear? Be the light that you came here to be. Warriors, stand strong in whatever situation that you are in, okay? And be unapologetic about it. I don't agree. I just tell them, oh, that's beautiful. I don't agree. Period, period, period. And light workers, keep your brothers and sisters in good health, spiritually, mentally, physically. Continue to hold space for them and for us. And let's all work together to get this done. It's all about strategy. Know who you are. Know if you're a light warrior or if you're a light worker. Know if you're one of the ones that's been placed in the hardest positions throughout your entire life. Reflect on your journey from childhood to adult. Look at the patterns of your life. Your patterns tell you the story of who you are. If you are one who had the worst of everything, if you grew up in poverty, I grew up in poverty. Hardest teachers, hardest drill sergeants, hardest jobs, okay, hardest bosses. I didn't have a break. And when I go back and I look at it, I say, wow, they really put me through the ringer. It was necessary. Because if I couldn't get through those things, I wouldn't be able to get through this now. And the same thing with you. You're strong enough to get through any and everything, every obstacle that is thrown in your way, but it's all the way that you process it. You can go about it exciting. Some people love challenges. Some people excel in challenges. You wanted the quickest way to get me to do something? Tell me I can't do it. See what happens. Yeah, some beings are like that too. So the universe throws things at you. Pass the test. And how we would say in the army, too easy? Too easy. Huh? I am Sophie, and I love you all. Bye.